show up, do your best, and let go of the outcome. If you are going to the gym, but your state of mind, your identity is of a fat person, you will quit in a month's time. What makes people stay consistent is first they build the identity. They first build the mindset, the state of being of what they want to become. So you have to know what you want to become first. Then once you know what you want to become, you be that. You've got to shift internally to a degree whereby you feel good with or without that thing for you to have it. So everything out here is a transaction, and it's just a transaction of emotions. So you want to have a big house, you want to have a mansion, you want to have a partner. You don't really want to have a partner. What you really want is the acknowledgement, is the feeling of being loved. You don't really want to have a big house, you just want to feel secure. Welcome back, viewers. I know you missed me. The slogan for the channel is always the same: show up, do your best, and let go of the outcome. And today nataka niwapeleke into something very interesting, and it's all about getting what you want. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get into the video of the day. So if you really want to have something that you don't already have, then the procedure of you getting what you want is quite simple, and there are two ways you can go about it. And most people use the first way, which is not the way I would actually encourage anyone to use, because we are moving from that era. And the first way that most people use to get what they want is through what we call separation, or through the use of the 3D world. So this is whereby when you want to have something, then you know that in order for you to get what you want, you must do something. So we have equated action with receiving. So if I want to own something or have something in my life, then I believe I have to do something. So what most people are obsessed with in this current dimension or in the 3D world is action. Doing, whereby people believe that the more they do, the easier or the more closer they will be to get what they want. And this is not a bad approach. It's just not the ideal one, right? Yeah. But if you take that approach, you will be frustrated. You will move through life with feelings of fear, with feelings of anxiety. Why? Because this is the method of separation. When you mainly focus on the doing aspect, you are separated. Okay. And who are you separated from? You are actually separated from your being, from who you truly are. So that is actually the first way you can approach of getting whatever it is you want to get. And then we have the second way of getting what you want. And this is rarely known to the masses out there, because it is those information, it is those wisdom that has been hidden from the masses from ages to ages, but it has been in existence. And the way to do it is to actually, instead of focusing on the doing, actually the doing is the last thing that you have to actually do. So before you take the action, you step into the version of you that already is at where you want to be. In other words, instead of focusing on the action, you focus on the state of being. Who are you being? You become. Then when you become, then you have. Then after you have, then you do. But the first procedure is you do, you have, then you become. So the first procedure is actually the reversed. People are actually starting with the least, then going to what they have to do. So don't start with the doing, then having, then becoming. Become. When you become, you will naturally have what that version has, and then you will naturally do what that version does. The reason why the second step is much more important than the first step is because when you have already tapped into the version or into the identity of that person or that outcome which you want, it means that you will be in the frequency that will enable you to download the information, the ideas necessary for you to actually have what you want. So when you become, let's say your goal is to lose weight, right? So if your goal is to lose weight, the most typical thing a person will do, they will think that they have to start going to the gym. Going to the gym is an action, but this is a wrong way of approaching it. So you start going to the gym, but you are still going to the gym with that mindset, with that identity of an obese person, with a person who does not go to the gym. So when you approach the action of going to the gym with that same mindset or state of being of a fat person, of a non-athletic person, then what will happen is this. You will go to the gym for the first day, the second day, the third day, and then when there is any sign of discomfort, maybe you wake up and it's raining, it's so cold, you will find excuses. Or maybe even your own identity will be at conflict with what you are doing. That is why most people never commit to something and stay fully to it. Why? Because they take the action, but deep down their state of being is at a complete opposite with what you are doing. So if you are going to the gym, but your state of mind, your identity is of a fat person, you will quit in a month's time. What makes people stay consistent is first they build the identity. They first build the mindset, the state of being of what they want to become. So you have to know what you want to become first. Then once you know what you want to become, you be that. Yeah? And how do you be that? To be that, you have to answer these 3 questions accurately. The first thing is, to be that, you ask yourself, what will that version of me think about most of the time? Will that version of me think in these kinds of patterns? Will that version of me do such things? Will that version of me feel some kind of way? Ask yourself, how would that version of you think, feel and act? Because the way you think, feel and act is actually what determines what you tend to attract and what you tend to really have in your experience. Okay? But now you have understood the 2 steps of getting whatever you want to get, right? You first got to become, then after you become, you will have, then after you'll have, you will do. And this is easier said than done. Okay? So most people will ask, okay, I still want to have. How does it come by? And this is where I now take you to the main content of the day. You have got to shift. This is as Nero says it. You've got to shift internally to a degree whereby you feel good with or without that thing for you to have it. So let me take you into it. Okay, so what do we mean by you have to shift internally to a degree whereby you are good with or without? This is what we call actually letting go, surrendering or manifesting. So what I mean by this is very simple. Now, when you want to have something, the real thing is you don't really want that thing in of itself. Let me repeat it. The moment you want to have something, to obtain something, to be in possession of something, you don't really want that thing for what it is. What you want rather is the emotional response you will get by having that thing. So I don't really want to have a car. I just want to feel lavish. I just want to feel a certain kind of way. I just want to feel that I don't go through that commotion of boarding a matatu. Okay, so having a car brings a certain form of feeling. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel worthy, right? So I don't really need the item. The item is a means to an end. The end is the feeling, the emotional response that I get. So everything out here is a transaction, and it's just a transaction of emotions. So you want to have a big house, you want to have a mansion, you want to have a partner. You don't really want to have a partner. What you really want is the acknowledgement, is the feeling of being loved. You don't really want to have a big house, you just want to feel secure. So once you understand that, things are illusory. They are illusions. And the material world, the 3D world, the matrix world has made it its sole purpose to deceive you that your fulfillment, your happiness, your joy, your sense of being will be derived once you have something. And the moment you realize that, there is nothing that can actually fulfill you which is external. There is nothing external or outward of you that can actually give you these feelings, that it is you have the power to actually access those feelings without those things. So the moment you realize this, you are one step close towards enlightenment. So you realize that the material world is an illusion, and the things which you want, you don't really want them, you want the feelings that they derive. And those feelings, you have the power to tap into them in the now, in this present moment. Okay? So once you understand that, you no longer live in separation. You no longer wait to get that job for you to feel good. You no longer wait for someone to tell you your outfit is looking marvelous today for you to feel great about yourself. You stop waiting for life and you start living life. You stop living in waiting mode. Most of us wait. We wait until we get a partner. We wait until we get a certain amount of money. We wait until this happens, until that happens. And you know what is fascinating about life? The thing is, life is unpredictable. You might wait until the time you die. People wait to live until they actually end living. So the moment you realize this, you stop waiting. And when you stop waiting, you tap into the power of the now, which is what I want to take you through. So by shifting internally to a degree whereby you feel good with or without, this simply means that you actually have accessed the power of the now. And the power of the now means that you are in the present moment. And when you are in the present moment, it simply means that you have shifted internally, because you no longer resist. When you don't have something and you wait the day you have it, you are actually resisting it. Why? Because this is how the universe actually works. Now, the universe is a place of energy, and the way we as human beings emit energy is in the form of our mental, emotional responses. Think about it this way. Your mental, emotional responses are how you communicate or how you transact energy out there. So if you understand this, then you stop resisting. And resistance is any form of negativity. So anytime that you feel any sort of negativity, be it frustration, irritation, tension, these are forms of negativity. The moment you spot these things happening within you, you realize that you are actually resisting something. You have not yet shifted internally to a degree whereby you feel good with or without. And up until you learn to do that, which is what we call surrender technique, that is letting go. If you shift internally, then your job is quite simple. And it is for you to hold on to that frequency for a prolonged period of time. I would even advise you to be able to hold that frequency for most part of your life. Because when you stick into that frequency of being good with or without, then what happens is this. You now do what we call, you project that frequency to the universe. And once you have projected that frequency to the universe is a magnet. Yeah, and when I say the universe, I just simply mean, some people call the universe God. It extrapolates to what you mean, the source, the creation, and whatever it is. It's not that God is punishing you. God is always there listening to you. You just have to know how to speak to God. And speaking to God is not crying while praying and begging for things to happen. You just have to understand the language of God, the language of the universe. And the language of the universe is energies, frequencies. Think about the stories of Jesus before he did miracles. Before he was able to perform any miracle, he used to ask the recipient, do you believe I can do this? And the recipient will respond, I actually do believe I can be healed. And to believe is to feel emotionally convicted or emotionally confident that you will receive it. So it is a feeling of certainty. It's a feeling. Yeah, to believe it's actually to feel. Okay? So if you understand that that is the language of the universe, then you actually stop begging for things. You believe, you have faith that you've already received them. And once you have received them, it means that you're no longer in waiting mode. And if you're no longer in waiting mode, then you are not giving anyone or anything permission to frustrate you, to give you tension, to irritate you, to bring any form of negativity into your life. So the more you move into the now, which is to relinquish resistance by accepting what is, you have actually shifted internally to a degree whereby you feel good with or without. So guys, I think nimewapeleka into it in this episode. If you've enjoyed this video and you like more of these kinds of content, please make sure you're leaving a like onto this video. Comment what you want me to talk about next, and if you think or feel you want to work one-on-one with me and you're ready, you can DM me to book our online coaching sessions. My details of how you can reach me are in the description of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay awakened. And don't forget, show up, do your best, let go of the outcome. See you on the next one.